Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Oksana, and this is Education USA for Europe and Central Asia. Just to remind you that our advising services are fully virtual, and we provide individual and group advising sessions, undergraduate and graduate application guidance, essay review support, and of course, some virtual workshops for you. So if you are interested in any of these opportunities, please scan the QR code and join our upcoming events. And today we are glad to talk about how to finance your education in United States. So we'll talk about smart financial planning for your US studies. And my colleague, wonderful Casey, that you have already met previously, will join us today with her complete guide, let's say like this, and some tips for you how you can take into account and what you should take into account when you plan to study in the United States. Thank you, Casey, for joining us today. And for our participants who are joining us right now, if you have any questions, please write them in the chat and we'll be glad to answer them at the end of the presentation. So, Casey, thank you so much for joining, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having me again. I just want to make sure that my presentation is showing and everyone can see it. So again, thank you so much for joining today. My name is Casey. I work with the International Admissions team at Kennesaw State University. Today, we're going to talk about something that is extremely important when planning to study in the United States, and that's how to fund your education and how to build a realistic financial plan. My goal today is to make this process feel clearer, more manageable, and more strategic for you. So we'll go ahead and get started. So in this presentation, we will start with the different types of scholarships. Then we'll discuss where to find funding opportunities. We'll talk about opportunity funds and alternative funding sources. We'll briefly cover athletic scholarships. Then we'll walk through how to build a realistic student budget. And finally, I'll connect everything directly to KSU so you can see how this applies in a real example. We'll leave time at the end for questions, so be sure to add any questions that come to mind in the chat during the presentation. Before we discuss scholarships, it's important to understand what you're actually paying for when studying in the US. Tuition is only one part of the total cost. Students must also plan for housing, meals, health insurance, books, transportation, personal expenses, and travel costs. One of the biggest mistakes students make is focusing only on tuition and forgetting the full cost of attendance. When you understand the full picture, you can plan more effectively. So there are several different types of scholarships available to international students. First, there's merit-based scholarships. These are awarded based on academic performance, leadership, extracurricular activities, or sometimes test scores. These are the most common scholarships available to international students. Next are need-based scholarships. These are awarded based on students' financial situation. Not all universities offer need-based aid to international students, but some do. These scholarships often require financial documentation, such as bank statements or sponsor letters. Then we have department or major specific scholarships. These are offered by academic colleges within a university, such as engineering, business, or computer science. Many of these become available after you've been enrolled and declare your major. There are also country specific scholarships. These are funded by government, embassies, or private organizations that support students from certain regions. Finally, scholarships can be institutional, offered directly by a university, or external, meaning offered by outside organizations. Understanding these categories helps you search more effectively. Scholarships are not one single opportunity, they're a system of opportunities, and the earlier you start, the more options you will have. So next, deadlines matter. Timing plays a major role in scholarship success. Many students miss opportunities simply because they apply too late. For fall admissions, many university scholarships close between October and January. Department scholarships often open between February and April, and external scholarships vary widely and so open as early as 1 year before enrollment. Because of this, students should begin researching scholarships at least 12 months before they plan to start university. I strongly recommend tracking deadlines in a spreadsheet, preparing essays early, and requesting recommendation letters well in advance. So, how to fund education. It's important to understand that most international students do not rely on one single scholarship. Instead, they build their financial plan using multiple sources. This often includes family support, a partial scholarship, personal savings, small external grants, and sometimes on campus work to help with daily expenses. For those of you that don't know, grants typically function the same way as scholarships do, where you will receive money that does not have to be repaid, unlike a loan. I like to describe funding as a financial puzzle. Each piece may not cover everything, but together they make studying in the US possible. Having realistic expectations makes the process much less stressful. Some common mistakes students make is that every year we see similar mistakes. Students apply too late. They only search for full scholarships and ignore smaller awards. They don't research, and sometimes they assume one scholarship will cover everything. The students who are most successful financially are the ones who apply early, apply broadly, and stay organized. Here are a few things I strongly recommend. Start researching scholarships about 12 months before you plan to enroll. Track deadlines in a spreadsheet or calendar so nothing gets missed. Prepare essays early so you're not rushing, and ask for recommendation letters well in advance. Professors and teachers need time to write these letters. Remember, scholarships are competitive and preparation gives you an advantage. One thing I will always tell students is the earlier you start, the more options you'll have. So, emergency funds are small financial support programs offered by universities. They are not full scholarships and they are not designed to pay for an entire degree. Instead, they exist to help students manage unexpected financial challenges so they can stay enrolled and continue their studies. These funds are typically limited, competitive, and not guaranteed. Students usually have to apply, and awards depend on available funding and demonstrated need. They are often used for immediate, practical expenses like textbooks, temporary housing, emergency costs, or technology needs. The main purpose of emergency funds is to remove short term barriers that might otherwise prevent a student from starting or continuing their education. It's also important to understand what they do not cover. These funds typically do not pay full tuition, full housing, or long term educational costs. They are meant to support students, not fully fund their education. Most universities offer these resources primarily to students who are already enrolled and experiencing a financial challenge. The goal is to help students persist, graduate, and succeed even when unexpected financial situations arise. So while emergency funds are very helpful, students should think of them as a safety net rather than a primary funding strategy. So many students also rely on alternative funding sources in addition to scholarships. For most international students, this is a normal and expected part of paying for US education. One of the most common sources is family sponsorship. This may come from parents, relatives, or family savings that are set aside specifically for education. In many cases, this becomes the foundation of a student's financial plan. Some students receive employer sponsorship. This happens when a company agrees to support an employee's education in exchange for returning to work with them after graduation. This is more common for graduate students, but it can apply in some situations for undergraduate students as well. Government funding is another possibility. Some national or regional governments provide scholarships, loans, or sponsorships for students studying abroad, especially in fields that are important for workplace or workforce development. Education loans are also used by some international students. These may come from banks in the student's home country or, in some cases, from US lenders if the student has a cosigner. Loans require careful planning because they must be repaid, but they can help fill funding gaps. International students are also allowed to work on campus while studying. These jobs might include working in dining services, libraries, administrative offices, or student centers. On campus employment can help cover daily living expenses like food, transportation, and personal items. However, it typically does not cover major costs like tuition or housing. Honors programs might have additional scholarships or funding opportunities if you are a high achieving student with good grades and test scores. I would recommend researching honors programs at each university as well. The most important thing to understand is that students usually combine several of these sources. It's very rare for one source to cover everything. Instead of funding often comes from a mix of family support, scholarships, savings, small grants, and work opportunities. When students approach funding as a combination of resources rather than a single solution, the process becomes more realistic and much more manageable. So, athletic scholarships in the United States are primarily governed by the NCAA, which stands for the National Collegiate Athletic Association. The NCAA sets the rules for college athletics, including eligibility, standards, recruiting guidelines, and scholarship limits. There are three NCAA divisions, but most scholarship conversations focus on Division 1 and Division 2. Division 1 schools typically have larger athletic programs, bigger budgets, and more competitive teams. These schools often offer more athletic scholarships, funding, but competition for those scholarships is extremely high. Division 2 schools also offer athletic scholarships, but they usually have smaller budgets and fewer full scholarships available. Division 2 often allows for a balance between the strong athletics and academics, and many international students find this level to be a good fit. Division 3 schools do not offer athletic scholarships, although they may offer academic or merit scholarships. In order to receive an athletic scholarship, students must meet both athletic and academic eligibility requirements. This usually includes submitting academic transcripts, meeting the minimum GPA standards, and in some cases, submitting standardized test scores. Students may also need to register with the NCAA Eligibility Center to confirm that their academic background meets the NCAA standards. The recruitment process is also important to understand. Unlike academic scholarships, athletic scholarships require direct communication with coaches. Students are responsible for reaching out to coaches, sharing highlight videos, statistics, and competition records. Coaches evaluate performance and determine whether to offer recruitment support. And it's important to understand that athletic scholarships are not always full scholarships. Many are partial awards that cover only a portion of tuition and housing. Because of this, student athletes should still build a complete financial plan beyond athletics alone. For students who are serious about competing in college athletics, early communication, strong academics, and proactive outreach to coaches is essential. So students often ask, where do I start? First, always start with the university website, admissions, financial aid, and academic departments. Then look externally at government programs, Education USA foundations, and scholarship databases. A helpful strategy is searching online using keywords like international student scholarship, plus your major, and then your country. Make scholarship research part of your weekly routine during your senior year. Keep in mind that there are scams. Be sure that organizations you are using are legit before submitting any personal information. At no point should you ever have to pay money to gain access to scholarship information. To combat this, we actually offer a portal called Scholarship Universe, where accepted students can apply to both internal and external scholarships that we have looked into as an organization to ensure they are real and legit. So all of these scholarships on Scholarship Universe are verified and vetted, so they are applicable for students who have been accepted to apply for internal or external scholarships. Now let's talk about building your budget. You should calculate tuition, housing, meals, insurance, books, transportation, personal expenses, and travel costs. Plan for the entire academic year, not just one semester. Also consider exchange rate changes and unexpected expenses. A strong budget gives you confidence and clarity. When students create a sample budget, they often forget certain costs like insurance or transportation. Being detailed now prevents stress later. So let's apply this to Kennesaw State University. At KSU, students budget for tuition and fees, housing on either campus, meals plans, health insurance, books, and personal expenses. We offer institutional scholarships, department scholarships, payment plans, and on campus employment. Most of our international students combine family funding with partial scholarships and strong budgeting. So, why can KSU be a smart financial choice? KSU is a public university, which often means competitive tuition compared to many private institutions. We are located near Atlanta, which offers internship and career opportunities, and we do have two campuses and a strong academic program in business, engineering, and computing, health sciences, and more. So, Kennesaw State University offers scholarships and financial aid opportunities for eligible students. I mentioned the Scholarship Universe portal earlier, but once again, this is a portal for accepted students to use once that one application to apply to all internal scholarships. There are external scholarships offered as well within this portal. One important option is the out of state tuition waiver, which allows qualifying international students to pay the in state tuition rate instead of the higher international tuition. So, this can reduce the cost from nearly $9,200 per semester to approximately $3,000 per semester. It is a valuable opportunity to make studying at KSU more affordable and accessible. So, for KSU specifically, these are some of our fun facts that help you gain a sense of who we are. Choosing a university is not just about cost, it's about value, support, and long term outcomes. So, KSU is the third largest public university in Georgia with over 50,000 students enrolled. Even with a large student body, we maintain a 23 to 1 student to faculty ratio, meaning your class sizes stay personable and manageable, especially once you get into your major specific courses. We're also incredibly diverse with 700 and growing international students representing 127 countries. So, no matter where you're from, you'll find a community here. If you like getting involved, there are 300 plus student organizations, everything from cultural clubs to fraternities and sororities to recreational sports. And for my athletes or sports fans, KSU has 18 NCAA Division I sports teams, including baseball, basketball, football, and women's soccer. We offer 190 plus degree and certificate programs across 11 academic colleges, with popular majors being nursing, psychology, and biology. And we've recently added aerospace engineering as well. My favorite fun fact is that our dining hall is ranked number 12 out of 1,361 for best college food in America. And we have a station dedicated to international cuisine where students can share recipes from home. So, one of the best parts of attending KSU is our location. We do have two campuses, our Kennesaw and Marietta campus, both located in Cobb County in the northwest Atlanta metro area. They're only 20 minutes apart, and students travel between them daily using our free shuttle, the Big Owl bus, or the Bob for short. It also goes to sporting events and local destinations. We're also about 35 minutes from downtown Atlanta, home to many Fortune 500 companies. That means fantastic opportunities for internships, co ops, and job shadowing. We're also roughly 45 minutes from Hartsfield Jackson International Airport, which is the busiest and largest airport in the world, super convenient for international flights. If you enjoy sports, concerts, or festivals, Atlanta has it all. For example, Truist Park, home of the Atlanta Braves, is right nearby. Our location really gives you the best mix of campus life, city access, and professional opportunities. So next, I want to show you this short video so that you can get an idea of our campus and student life. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear the audio, but I will try and put the subtitles. So now you got a good sense of our campuses and then student life. I believe the longer version of the video is on our website, and it's about 25 minutes long. So you can go watch the video, see our campuses, and then also listen to the stories about current students and their experience on campus. So now we'll talk about the academic programs at KSU. So the Kennesaw campus is home to our Bagwell College of Education, which is going to house your elementary, middle, and secondary education programs. Our Coles College of Business is going to house accounting, finance, marketing, and management. And a fun fact is that our business school has international accreditation, so your degree is recognized globally. Our College of Humanities and Social Sciences houses psychology, political science, foreign languages, international affairs, anthropology, communication. And then our College of Science and Mathematics houses our life sciences. Our College of the Arts houses art, music, theater, dance, animation. And then lastly, our Wellstar College of Health and Human Services houses nursing, exercise science, public health, and many more. So if your major falls under one of these colleges, you'll likely spend most of your time on the Kennesaw campus. Next is our Marietta campus, home to many of our STEM majors. So our College of Architecture and Construction Management. Our College of Architecture is an accelerated program compared to most institutions. It takes 6 years. You can get your architecture degree here in 5. Our College of Computing and Software Engineering houses computer science, information technology, computer game design and development. And then starting this fall 2026 semester, we are getting a new program. We are getting a Bachelor's of Science in Artificial Intelligence. So we're really excited for that program to be opening up. And then our Southern Polytechnic College of Engineering and Engineering Technology houses mechanical, civil, electrical, industrial, and again, aerospace engineering. And then again, the College of Science and Math is also housed on our Marietta campus as well. So if your major is engineering, computing, architecture, or certain STEM majors, you'll call the Marietta campus your home for your major specific courses. So for Kennesaw State University, the following items are required to apply for admissions. So the common application, you must complete the application with as much detail as possible, including your personal information, academic history, extracurricular activities, and any leadership or special projects you have participated in. The more specifics you provide, the better we can understand your accomplishments. And then you must submit your official high school transcripts. Submit transcripts from all high schools you've attended. These should reflect your complete academic record, including the courses taken and the grades you've earned. And then we do require an official evaluation of your high school transcript so that we can interpret your grades using the US grading scale. This helps ensure your academic performance is accurately assessed in the context of US admission standards. Then you'll need to submit your official standardized test scores. For many international students, these scores can also satisfy the English proficiency requirement, eliminating the need for a separate English exam. By providing all of these materials, KSU can thoroughly review your academic preparation and make a fair and informed admissions decision. As mentioned previously, we also do not need letters of recommendation or essays for the general application process. However, they may be needed for certain scholarships. So just make sure you look at those requirements. So, we do offer an International Student and Scholar Services Department. This office works to support international students with many items such as the visa and I-20 process. So, after acceptance, you will receive an I-20 within 24 hours, so you can begin the F-1 visa process. The office also helps students with exchange programs if they plan to only study at KSU for maybe a semester or a year and then transfer back to their institution in their home country. The International Student and Scholar Services Office also will help with travel guidelines and giving travel signatures to ensure you're staying within compliance. Lots of communication and emails are shared between this office and you as a student to answer all the tough questions. Additionally, they attend orientation sessions where students will come to our campus after acceptance and register for classes and learn more about the immigration compliance. Finally, they do advise on employment and help international students with finding jobs and work visas. So next, I'll talk to you about our KSU Journey Honors College. Is a program for high-achieving, motivated students at Kennesaw State University that offers a specialized curriculum, including honors courses, seminars, and undergraduate research opportunities. It provides benefits such as priority registration, specialized advising, scholarship opportunities, and access to exclusive lounges on campus. The college also supports students through various opportunities like study abroad and elite cohort programs, and it serves students in all undergraduate majors. Students apply through the Common App as a first year student, or they can use the internal honors application. The requirements are listed on their website for you to see as well. And next, I'll talk to you a little bit about our double hour pathway. Our double hour pathway lets you earn your bachelor's and master's degree faster than doing them separately. So it saves you time and tuition. If you're interested in pursuing this program, please ensure you have a conversation with your academic advisor after acceptance when you discuss course registration. So this is a great opportunity if you know you want to get a master's degree as well. You typically will apply for the double hour pathway your end of your junior year, your senior year, and then you will start taking master level courses alongside taking your undergraduate level courses, and you'll be paying undergraduate level tuition instead of the graduate tuition. So it's an easier way for you to get your master's and bachelor's degree at the same time. And finally, remember that you don't have to figure all of this out alone. Use college search websites, virtual tours, webinars, and college fairs to learn more. Ask questions. Admissions counselors are here to help. The more research you do, the more confident you feel in finding a college that truly fits your goals and needs. We even offer one-on-one sessions with admissions counselors and students within our office. My biggest advice to you is this: start early. Apply broadly, stay organized, be realistic about affordability. Studying in the US is an investment in your future, and planning ahead makes that investment possible. So, in conclusion, when we are talking about KSU, you can think of us as a public institution that is widely affordable. So I hope you find this session informative. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them in the chat now. I will put our contact information on the screen, and that concludes the session.
Thank you so much, Casey, for this detailed presentation. And also, thank you so much for showing this video. I hope that our students enjoyed the view of the university and campus itself. And we do have some additional questions about financial aid and scholarship.
Okay.
So we can start with those that we have in the chat, and then I will move to the questions from the registered participants that they have put it already in the form. So let's start with the first one that I have seen in our chat, and this is about F1 status allows up to 20 hours of work per week on campus, and how competitive are these jobs on a large campus, and how much of students' annual personal expenses can they actually cover?
I would say because the campus is large, I wouldn't say it's too widely competitive because there's so many opportunities for students to apply for different things. So I know as long as you meet the requirements of what they're looking for, I know we are always looking for student tour guides, which as a tour guide, you'll show prospective students the campus, you'll do tours, and you'll answer any questions about majors, things like that nature. Student assistants, we have many student assistants that work in our office. They typically answer the phones and they work in the front office answering any customer concerns. You can work in dining, you can work at the bookstore, you can be a resident assistant, which is typically a resident assistant you would apply as a sophomore student. So you've already been on campus for about a year and you help typically the first year students coming in, and you're overseeing their housing. So that also helps with, you most likely will get free housing as a resident assistant. So there's many opportunities for students to get jobs. I wouldn't say it's too competitive, as there's many opportunities for them to work really anywhere on campus. And how much of students' annual personal expenses can they actually cover after taxes? That is a good question. I'm not well versed in that. I would honestly ask most likely the International Student and Scholar Services Office to have that conversation with a student to see how much of their personal expenses can be covered after taxes are taken off.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. But I'm sure, like, not a lot,
No,
but still enough, like to
yeah,
cover
I
some.
would
Yeah.
I would say like it would probably be helpful that your job would apply to expenses like personal expenses, like maybe gas, if you want to eat out, if you want to buy something at the store, things of that nature. I wouldn't put it towards like a big cost like a housing or tuition.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Another question is, do you know any of the websites that are safe to search for scholarships that are available to everyone, not just KSU admitted students?
Hmm. I only know of the verified scholarships that we have on our website. If I can put, I'm not sure if I can put in the chat um, the financial aid website. You can talk with a counselor and see if they have any recommendations for any websites outside of the KSU that students can use, because I'm sure they have more recommendations for scholarships that they can provide students.
Yeah, sure. And like what we would recommend to our students is, first of all, visit the website of the university if you're looking for some specific financing opportunities. But from on my side, as an Education USA advisor, I would like to recommend you also to visit our educationusa.state.gov website. And there you can find many different websites that will help you to find opportunities and scholarships. For example, one of them is fundingstudy.org, fundingustudy.org, or for example, internationalscholarship.com. So like if you are interested in any of these websites, you can easily move to educationusa.state.gov and find all this information there as well. But yes, so like our one-on-one advising sessions are also available for you. So if you are still struggling with this question, like where to look for these websites, or like what should you do with your financial plan, please register for these sessions and we'll be glad to help you. Thank you so much. And next question is, why shouldn't we apply for scholarships late, given that it's before deadline? I hear often that we have to apply early, but I plan to take English exam in late September, a few weeks before deadlines.
We always advise students to apply early for scholarships, just because if you don't get awarded a scholarship, you still have time to apply for other scholarships. If you apply too late, sometimes our deadline for scholarships, they open in November of this year, and then they will close March 1st of next year. So that is the deadline that Scholarship Universe is open for students to apply. So we always tell them to apply as early as possible, because you never know if you're going to be awarded a scholarship, and it gives you time to plan ahead financially on if you're not awarded a scholarship, what are your other options.
Yeah, that's great. Even though like the period of time is not so short, but still like it's better to apply earlier. I think so. Great, thank you so much. Okay, and another question: is it possible to get full ride scholarship in Kennesaw University, Kennesaw State University?
So Kennesaw doesn't offer any full ride scholarships. We have a lot of partial scholarships. So I tell students typically you can stack scholarships. So you can apply for as many scholarships that you're eligible for. And then if you're awarded multiple scholarships, you can stack them. So you can stack your scholarships. I've seen students do this, and they typically it will be added to your tuition first. And then whatever is left over, if you have any scholarship money left over, it will apply to your housing, and then it will apply to your books, but it will go to your tuition first. So there's no full ride scholarships, but you can stack as many scholarships as you're eligible for.
Yeah, that's great. Also, thank you so much. Dear viewers, if you have any other questions, please, it's your time to write these questions in the chat, and we'll proceed with a few questions from our registered participants. And one of them is how much money it is best to have for emergency needs that must always be in the bank account. What do you think about that?
Uh, I always see personally for me, I always say about paying emergency funds would be something you want to be able to pay at least a month of tuition or housing a month in advance. So it really depends on how much your tuition and housing is. So I would say about maybe 10 to 15,000 saved up well in advance for anything that may come up you get in an accident, something happens, you have some money, like at least 15,000 set aside for any emergency.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. What is the minimum funding amount required on the I-20, and what are the best strategies for meeting this requirement when available funds are limited?
Um, the I believe for the bank statements for the I-20, you need to show proof of funding for 1 year at KSU, which is roughly 45,000. And then the International Student and Scholar Services Office can go through that process of the bank statements and tell you how to meet those requirements. So, but the minimum would be around 45,000, which is a year of studying at Kennesaw.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. And again, I would like just to remind the students if you have any like specific questions or maybe even general questions about funding, so you can always reach out to our advisors and we'll be glad to help you. Next question is, should an applicant apply as many scholarships as possible and then refuse to make some of them in case of having funds enough or enough funds?
So, like they apply to multiple scholarships, they're awarded it, and they turn down the scholarships.
Oh yeah, like this.
Um, if they have enough funds to turn down scholarships, I have not met a student that has turned down a scholarship. Money is money, so I would always go on the as much as you can. If you're awarded it, as much as you can provide as you are given.
Yeah, so there is like no reason to turn the back. That's for sure. Thank you so much. And one more question is how to balance personal spendings, for example, cinema, concerts, snacks, taxi, when you already pay most of your money for tuition, living, and food.
Mm. So budgeting is very important. I highly recommend students to talk with. We do have a service that helps students balance academics and personal life, but budgeting is a really important thing students are going to have to learn when coming to any university. So, tracking your monthly spending, making sure that all of your main fees are getting paid throughout the month or throughout the semester. And then if you have anything left over, you can allocate that towards, personal expenses, food, and then hopefully putting it towards savings as well. So tracking how much you're spending, where you need to save, is really important.
Yeah, that's great. Great recommendation, I think, for our students how to plan. And of course, it's better to do it in advance. Like, so you know, at least like not exact amount of money that you need, but at least you know like what to expect in future. That's great. Thank you so much, Casey, for joining us today. I don't see any questions from the chat, but I think our students might join with questions later. I mean, like they will reach out to us. And if they have any additional questions to you, I will be glad to pass your contact information and also introduce Tennessee State University.
Of course.
Maybe last comments to students, last suggestions, advice.
Thank you for joining. I hope this information was informative to you. And always remember to apply early, start early, think ahead, not just in the moment. Think ahead what your future is going to look like. And hopefully, all of this is helpful for you. And I hope to see you hopefully at Kennesaw State. If not, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining and see you during our next webinars.
Bye.
Bye.